Uranium friends, you look as I look. Let's kick it off on the weeklies with URA as our first look. A weekly higher low is set. Technically, it is a weekly uptrend at this point with no follow through. Why? Low, high, higher low, higher high, no follow through. So that's what we're going to be looking for in the week ahead, right? It has regained its 12 EMA, which is a good look. It broke out of this little daily EQ. Yes, it has. It still has yet to confirm a new daily uptrend because this low, what is this, 4263? What's this one? Am I on it? Let me see. What's this low right here? 4254. So it made a bit of a lower low here. So it's going to be searching for a higher low, right? So we need something to look like this. So it's choppy as all heck in here, right? But forget about the technicals on higher lows and higher highs. It got through this little daily EQ resistance. It's back testing now. Need to look for the depth of the back test. There is a little bit of a baby gap right here. So don't be surprised if it gets filled while it's searching for its daily higher low. And you're going to want it to look something like that, right? And then you can get continuation. That's what I'm looking for in URA. Pretty far off of its highs here, and that has some sort of implications because if you look at URNM, it's much closer to its local highs here. So a better look, a daily uptrend with follow through, broke out of its EQ, and it's a little bit further away from even testing that breakout level. So stronger than URA and closer to its highs, right? And this is, let me just kill that. Yeah, so this is much closer to its all-time highs. So URNM is closer to a blue sky breakout than URA. A nicer look, happiness all around. Do we have our weekly uptrend confirmed? Yes, we have our weekly uptrend confirmed. So it looks good for URNM, a little bit better than URA. URNJ, same deal, weekly uptrend confirmed. Put that over here. Alert me if there's a problem. Okay, just kind of breaking out and no follow through on that daily EQ. I'm sure it has yet too. So this is a big outside bar. You have to kind of wait to see what happens this week with how it reacts here. But again, gaps down here below on all these ETFs and would be enough to make the higher low. So there's plenty of room there for it. Let me just get this precise so we know. 2476 right now, the key level to hold. Some room here and a gap down here. So URNM, the stronger one so far. NLR, weekly chart, higher low is set. Same thing, just kind of just starting to break out of this daily EQ with no follow through at the moment. There's a gap close by, right? What is this? 33.43. 34.40. Yeah, so there's a gap right here, right at this moving average stack. So not necessarily, wouldn't be a big surprise. That would give us a nice pivot too. So good in that regard. So pullbacks here will not be horrible. You know, let's back test this breakout, maybe get an undercut, fill the gap, and then be on the way. That's what we're hoping for. NUKZ has more VOCLO and things in it. Broke out, set the daily, weekly higher low here. Looking for continuation. Is there follow through on this breakout of the CQ? Not really. Is there a gap nearby? Yes, into the EMA stack. So these ETFs are kind of looking for that type of deal, right? And NUKZ and NLR are much closer to these gaps that could potentially get filled. So it would be no surprise. Gap and go, hey, maybe, I mean, here's a gap and go. Hasn't filled that yet, right? So all gaps do not have to be filled, especially with these lower liquidity names. All right, that's the deal. CCJ, let's see what's looking like. We know it hit all-time highs again on Friday. Pretty immediate rejection. That would mean traders are probably looking to go short. Plenty of room to make a higher low as compared to this level right here, which is 90.89. What does the weekly look like? That is not really necessarily the weekly pivot. That is the weekly 12 EMA. That would be a little bit of an undercut cut into this breakout of this little EQ it had. CCJ looks great. These Fibonacci extensions could imply getting up into these 120s and possibly the 140s. I did make a very detailed video on why 140 is a possibility as a target for me in a longer term play based upon some Fibonacci's and whatnot. But that is a Discord exclusive. This is a You Look As I Look. At the end of the day, the key level for the name right now is going to be this 90.89. Okay, so let's not be surprised if we get a back test into this 198 area where this daily 12 EMA is. Depends on the action with the rest of the space, obviously. DNN on the daily chart has made a great move. I got shaken out. It happens. DNN is not my favorite name in general. Not really interested in being a long-term holder on it. Could be a mistake. I don't know. Don't care. Weekly pivot is right here, 248 key level. On the daily, what's the key level? Yeah, it's 240. Well, no, because you can probably say on the daily, this is even tighter level. So 262. There's a gap down here in that area also, just to be aware of it. That's all. But, you know, the space in general is looking fantastic. Let's see what the daily, monthly on DNN looks like. You know, if we go back, you've got this 430 level that's going to be a bone of contention at some point. This level over here in this 340, what is this, 360s, 420, somewhere up in here, it may be your last line of defense, and then it's going to be not a lot of resistance up until you get into the $6 area, the low sixes. So DNN was looking great. It's monthlies. It's a higher high at this point. So this is just a continuation of the monthly uptrend here, right? So it's starting to get a little bit of follow through because if you mark on this monthly, this last pivot, that's the spot, right? That for the monthly long-term chart players are just wanting that for sure to hold, but the monthly higher low is set and the monthly higher high has been taken out. This is good consolidation. You want to see sustained runs get these pivots, right? So we want these little pivots to happen. And DNN just provided it. The fundamental guys can deal with their ISR claims and whether they are good or not. I don't know. EU, the dog, such a dog. Monthly inside bar doesn't help us in any way. Is the weekly higher low set? It is not. So we don't even have that. Well, I guess it is because it did break above this level here. I just want to look at the daily. What does the daily look like here? Ugh. So it broke above, no follow through, rejected, and then broke below on this daily. So EU doesn't look great compared to a lot of the other names. I guess a key level for us right now is Friday's low. And then beyond that, we're going to have to start looking at all of these little levels here. Hopefully this moving average stack can hold. For now, no gaps to be fully aware of, but truly the next lower pivot here. This is the real true pivot down here at 238. So EU not looking as good as part of the space, but you know, hey, it is what it is. NextGen, yeah, another new all-time high. I mean, it's just grinding, right? So the monthly higher low is set. What is it set at? Right here. 733 key level, right? Does the weekly give us any pivots a little bit higher? Nope, that's going to be 733 also, right? What is this low? 814. So it's a, you know, a little bit of a move there. So not bad. And did the daily give us any sort of pivot? Not yet. So I guess the daily right now, this is going to be the key level to be thinking about right now for this name. Let me just get this on here. This is the nature of you look as I look. Sometimes I actually have to create my own alerts. So there it is. That is the key level on the daily. 912. What's this? 905. All right. And is this gap filled? Probably not, right? Maybe a penny or two. 935 and 942. Yeah. So we got like a 7 cent gap down here. But it is starting to show a little. Let's just see what the shorter term time frames look like. Yeah, you got to be cognizant of a possible 4 hour head and shoulders. Let me just look at this hourly. Yeah, not the best. Um, but still, I mean, longer term perspective, it's trading in blue sky. There's no resistance for this name other than anything it's just created, which really isn't much. All right, so that's NextGen. You fundamental peoples can deal with it however you want to deal with it. UEC monthly chart, coming to try to test its all-time high again, right? So it looks more like URNM for sure. It's closer to its all-time high. This is your rising wedge bull break. A little bit of a back test here, still held nicely. Trading well above the moving average stack, trading well above the monthly 12 EMA. Looks absolutely fine. UEC, right? Liquidity, option chain, uh, promotional CEO, all the right makings of a stock that's going to continue on, right? Especially in the theme. So it broke out of the EQ. It doesn't have any follow through. Rejected up in here in this level, which has got some rejection level possibility, right? You can see it in the chart. So again, back testing, not bad. This looks like there was no gap, right? That's the high, 1204, low 1190. So no gap to worry about here. What's this low here? 1317. What's this high? 1324. No gap here either. So looking for a daily pivot to continue on. UEC looks good. All things considered. URG, the fundamental news has changed here a bit, and it's responding better. It's doing better than EU, right? So that's a good sign. We could potentially say that we have some support right here at 135 on the weekly chart. What's the monthly look like? Probably not going to give us much. Yeah, I mean, this is a big spike up that we're going to have to deal with, right? So there's a lot of resistance up in this 210 to 230 area. But this monthly higher low is set, and it's continuing on with some follow through. What's the daily look like? Bull flag confirming with no follow through. We still have this key level here. There is a little bit of a pivot here. So bulls that are keeping it tight, new entries that are trying to keep it tight. Buck 57. And then buck 36. That's for the new entrants that are trying to keep it tight. But we have some resistance that we're going to have to deal with throughout these levels up here in this 175 area. Looks better though. UROY, a little bit of a proxy to the spot price, so people say. Got through its EQ with zero follow through, and it's kind of trading back in it. Not the best look. Shorters will be looking at this name more than anything else. It did fill this gap here. What's the low on this gap? 421. Did it fill it before? Nope, but it filled it here. Okay, so it filled this gap and rejected. Not the best look. Moving average stack is as support. Otherwise, you're down here in this 351 range for UROY. Energy fuels, we know it gets some rare earth love as well, so it pays to pay attention to the rare earths and uranium. This gets the double shot with that, right? So if rare earths and uranium are moving in the same direction, it would stand to reason that energy fuels will benefit in that regard. I guess the benefit would also be if rare earths are moving up and uranium starting to move down, maybe energy fuels doesn't move down as much as the rest of the miners. Possibility, always something to keep an eye on. But again, it got its daily EQ breakout. and now it's just coming to back test, and there's plenty of room to do so. There's no gaps left behind here. Great look. Next test would be up in the 22 range for resistance purposes. Okay, so let me just see what the shorter term time frames look like. Yeah, it lost its 4-hour 12 EMA ride. We've been talking about it in the Devil Discord. I was taking a couple shots here. I didn't want to stick around over the weekend and take the risk of these new ads, so bailed out. Small loss. We were trading it through here. We made some shekels along the way. Fine, no big deal. We'll take it as it comes. But Energy Fuels on the weekly chart looks fine. Back test of the breakout area, reasonable. Back test even into this weekly 12 EMA, reasonable. Uptrend confirmed. Not a lot of follow through. Anything else? That's it for the miners. What did I miss on the big board miners? Anything did I miss? Did I miss? No. That'll do. Devil's over and out.